Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 420. 420.
420!
Woo! I'm one of the hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Don't think it worked as well this time.
No. And Tony Korkanakis.
Yeah.
Was that
song?
Or something? Like I tried to do something and then I got high, whatever. I was trying to think of it last time. I couldn't remember it. So I was like,
Yeah, I forget how that goes. But welcome to 420 listeners and viewers. We have a spoiler cast coming up after this for Daredevil Season 3. This episode, we got some movie news, gaming news to talk about. We have me to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. Everybody else can talk about it, I'm sure, because I think a lot of people just know more for a lot, right? I mean,
probably.
Corey's got Destiny 2 to play.
I've played very little more of it since last week.
I played more of it this week than I did the last week.
Yeah, that's good.
Just to make sure I knew where I stood with it.
Well, let's kick it off with what we've been up to, and I'll just kick it off with Red Dead Redemption 2. That's all I've played. I'm on
one of those. Okay, so like to just piggyback a little bit.
Sure.
And obviously, Destiny 2, which you mentioned, Jim, is a big game where it can take up a lot of time.
Sure.
For me, because time playing video games is very valuable, obviously.
Yes.
So I need to prioritize what I'm going to be doing. And also, it's the hour, like the enjoyment per hour. Right. And it's like in Red Dead, I feel like I play an hour and I have run across, like I've done nothing. Like, I got on my horse, went into town, and that was about all I could do. Whereas in like a game like Destiny, I feel like in an hour I can feel much more accomplished and get things done that I feel like, okay, I've actually made progress.
I mean, listen, I've not played much Destiny 2, clearly. But this game reminds me of getting down to the global Earth area and just kind of trotting around. And yes, and you can do that in this game. And it reminds me of that quite a bit, actually. And even in an hour, I still accomplished quite a bit. I mean, I've played a lot of this. I mean, I can't, there's no hour count. I hate how there's no hour count in this game. I've played, I'm on chapter 4.
It's like a casino, man. They block out all the windows so you don't know what time it is. It's like always.
Apparently there's
the clock always here, man. High noon.
I'm apparently 4/5 through the game or something like that.
What does your percent say?
The story I'm at 45%.
Okay.
Which is weird because I'm like, I know chapter 4 is, I guess there's a bunch, maybe there's a lot of like secret stuff after and stuff that, you know, just going to Red Dead Redemption, I'm thinking like maybe there's more. But the story, there's a lot to hate about this game and a lot to love for me about this game. Like Tony, you're done with this game, right?
Probably. I'm gonna finish out chapter 2, I think. And then
I'm not even gonna blame you. Like I don't blame people for not wanting to play this game either. Like this by no means is a perfect game and should get 10s from anybody, in my opinion. There's a lot of things where you're like, this worked okay on 360, but this has been improved upon since, and there's no reason it's this bad in this game.
Thank you. And that's exactly what I said. I was like, I just feel like it's a 360 game and its core, just super pretty and detailed and whatnot. I mean, that's great, but like, I'm not having fun. Like, I'm not having fun because, like,
wait, chapter 4, you get to it. Chapter 4, I don't want to give up too much on the story, but there's a lot of people around me, and riding a horse through a very crowded area, or even myself just navigating through a very crowded area when the controls are not precise, like they're not super precise. I have been a wanted criminal more times than I can imagine, and I basically this is a weird part of the game. Because I thought if you just become wanted and you sit there and let them come get you, that's the end of it. They'll come get you and kill you or something. Or they'll arrest you or something. The cop stood at me and stared at me. He's like, you better leave the area. I'm like, but I'm waiting for you to arrest me. I'm here. I accidentally assaulted this woman because she was in my way. She was in the way of my horse. She was in the way and I ran her over. And so I didn't see her. I was coming around a corner, you know, trying to, you have to do horseback riding because there's no really quick travel. So I'm trying to get there fast. And she screamed and I ran right over her. I couldn't stop in time. You can't stop a horse on a dime, you know? So
Especially if he doesn't like you, the horse.
I saw the cop and I'm like, well, I'll just stand here and let him either arrest me or shoot me and kill me or whatever, and I'll just come back here and start over. And nope, I had to wait for the stupid wanted thing to go all the way down from investigating. Then I had to clear the area waiting for them to let me come back in to continue the mission, which was right around the corner. So there's a lot of stuff that like looting is just looting is I just can't even. It's horrible in this game. That is the single worst part of this game. And I'm like, and the gunplay isn't great because I can use the Deadeye and I use it like crazy because the gunplay is not great. But
I mean, you need it.
Yes. Looting is the absolute worst thing about this game. And I've lost horses now and I've had to run around. That's not the worst part. Looting is the worst part. Like, I don't care to watch a guy pick up a dead guy, pat him down, pull up something off of him. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. At some point, this is too realistic, and I didn't need to be there.
Thank you. That's like, again, it's just.
I mean, that's exactly the stuff I'm saying. It's like the video gaming things that make games enjoyable are missing.
Yes, and that's right. I mean, that's really what this game.
It's QOL, man.
This game overdid it. They went too far in my mind.
And then when there's things that aren't consistent with that, you get mad. Like, for instance, my satchel was full and I got came across an animal and I got the pelt, and they talk about how it's like, oh, this is an important pelt. This is like a good one. I'm like, all right, cool. It was full, but I got the pelt, but not all the materials. I don't even know. It didn't make sense to me from this animal. So I put it on my horse's back and I start going somewhere, but then I have to stop because at this point I've been playing for too long. So I stopped. I figured out how to save the game, which is a mystery at first. It's very hard. So I do. I save it, but I'm in the open world when I save this game. So when I come back, it's like, oh, you abandoned your animal. So the animal is gone completely now. So all those materials that were just there before my save disappeared completely.
That's the worst part about it. Like, I have, I went into this. It was it wasn't even like a town. It was like a shanty area where like there were criminals all over the place. That's the word I'm looking for. Criminals everywhere, and I killed them all. It was part of like a mission, and I went through and killed them. And then I started like, okay, I started looting the bodies, and I'm like, let me go look around at the house. And all of a sudden, wanted came up. Like there was a witness, and I'm like, to what? Like to what? What did I do wrong here? Because as far as I know, you hate all of us here. They're all criminals. I just did the law a favor, and I left the area real quick. I just left the red circle. Like, I didn't leave the area. I left the red circle, waited for the thing to come down, and I walked back in. Everything was gone.
That's the other thing that these very stringent laws sort of completely, to me, like, it seems like the open world is completely divorced from the mission world.
They also need to tell you where to pay your bounties, because I had no idea for a while. I stumbled across it. I'm like, now I know where I'm doing this. Yeah. Okay.
But like in missions, like you'll just like kill like 50 people in a camp, and like there'll be no chance anyone will see it, and you'll be fine.
Yes.
And then if you like kill one person anywhere, it seems like maybe if you're really isolated, you'll get away with it, but there's witnesses everywhere, and you have to deal with it. And it seems like the rules are totally different in mission and outside of mission, which seems like the opposite of what they were trying to do here.
There's so many times where I've left multiple areas of multiple dead bodies I could have looted, and I didn't because of, I don't know, and it's random. When the wanted and doesn't come up, there's no way there's a witness because everybody's dead. And it still pops up randomly. It's almost like a random roll, a dice roll trigger. That's really what it looks like. It's another illusion in a game. It brings me back to another. And I was going to ask you guys if you wanted to do a topic at some point for the, again, illusion of choice. And we're not there yet, clearly, right? I mean, we're still not there. And will we get there next gen? That's what I was going to ask you guys.
And that to me, I think is a little, so to me, that's a bit more frustrating with the game because, you know, again, I super checked my expectations with this game because I haven't I gave Rockstar a chance back with Grand Theft Auto 4 and the media, and they were going for nuts. I played it, and after like the first week, I was like, this game is not that good. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 1, so it's like I don't really have a stake in this.
Sure.
In this. But, you hear like, oh, the greatest open world, the story, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Again, Microsoft's paying me a net $40 to take it off the hands of GameStop. So you know what? Why not? And it's just, even with lowered expectations, I just can't help but get pissed off at so many things that are going on in the game. And like, I'll be enjoying myself, and then I'm reminded again of why am I doing this to myself? Like you said, like with loot, I was on this quest where I straight up killed like 20 dudes because they just kept coming in waves. Yeah, and then I'm just like,
you don't want to go through that.
I don't want to go through this. Yes. I don't want to go through this.
That's ultimately I'm sitting there. I'm patting down bodies, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to treat this like a realistic situation where I'm like, if I'm this character, I'm going to play this character. I don't want to do this. I'm just going to leave the area because I don't want to do it. You know, if I miss a great item or if I miss money, you know what? Tell me, do your job better, Rockstar, and make this game more accessible for everybody then. That's what I was thinking. That's actually what goes through my head when I go through a looting scenario. I'm like, no, you know what? No, I'm not wasting my time with this. If I miss something cool, that's their fault for not making this accessible.
Yeah, but then the other thing is, too, is like, you have this great big open world, and I just feel like there's no compelling reason to go out and wander in it. Like,
I don't. I usually stick to the main missions.
Only bad things can happen.
Right, exactly. Only bad things can happen to you. Like, it's just so frustrating because when you compare it to other games, like, Horizon, Breath of the Wild, I mean, you are encouraged to go off the beaten trail and like explore and like find cool stuff and see more of the world. And this, I'm just like, no, because if I wander around, I'm probably gonna die. I'm probably gonna lose the pelt or some other item, or my horse is gonna die that I raised like a level 4 relationship or some bullshit. Yeah. Like, it's just. And what's the reward? You don't even know. There's no reward.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's so many times you run into somebody randomly yelling on the side of the road, and I've helped a few of them out, and they say, "Oh, thank you," and that's the end of it. And I'm like,
yeah.
But every time I'm doing this, I'm like, are they going to try
to
give
you a couple dollars sometimes?
Yeah. No, most of the time I get nothing.
So the other thing is too is like it's really weird because I feel like the system, Mike, you touch upon this a little bit, but I really do feel like it's just there's two things conflicting at all times. So you have your main story missions, because even though it's not as implicit as like, this is a story mission, this advances the story. There are story missions, and there are other missions where it's like, hey, this is just like building your relationship with other characters, right? The side gang members, stuff like that. Anything that has to do with like the store core, I don't feel like you really have a choice. It's like you're Arthur, and you have to do some bad shit. You have to do some real bad shit because people are telling you need to do some bad shit. But then when it's like comes to any of the side stuff or town stuff, then you can be like, oh, I'm Arthur, I'm not, I'll calm down in my older age, this and the other thing. And they have the honor system. I'm just like, it's so conflicting and contrasting to me where it's just like.
Well, what my problem is with it is like, I want to be that badass outlaw who doesn't give a shit. And then like they punish you for doing that in the side stuff.
There are more rewards.
So it's like, well, you want me to do this, and like you're telling me this is who I am, but then you don't let me do it. And you make it.
They really didn't get the renegade or whatever you want to call that part of the game is not rewarding at all, and I'm sitting right in the middle because that's the way I think this character is, and I have a feeling, huh?
I don't see him that way. That's the thing.
I see him that way because I see him as still a just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean
he's a bad guy.
It's really, I mean, that's the best example of it. He is great about family. He's very strong about family. And you learn that with Marston's kid, Jack, is in this game, and you realize that he's actually another father figure for that kid. And as long as you do certain missions, I mean, you may never experience that either. But that's the thing about this game. There are aspects that everybody's going to play this game where we would all have a different experience. But is that someone's experience may be horrible though because of that? Like. That's the gamble you have in this game, but it's also illusion because it's like at the core of it, I've heard a lot of people make funny statements on different podcasts about what they've experienced in this game. And I can tell you for a fact that I ran into every single one of them, which means that's scripted. That's in there. Like, yeah, somebody got kicked in the head with a horse. Did anybody come across that?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I came across, I took a clip of this. I ran across somebody that was like watching their horse or something like that. And like Arthur starts talking to him, and then Arthur goes, "You need some help?" And he's like, "My horse just, whatever." Yeah. And the horse just kicks him with both legs and kills him. I'm just like,
yes, that happened.
Is this? Yeah. Oh, okay. I was like, what the?
That's what I'm saying. So then there's apparently like a guy that you'll find that has a snake bite that I didn't find in the game because I didn't go there early on. Like he's supposed to be there, but guess what? He turned up for me on chapter 3, which is not where he's in the story apparently. Because I looked up what you're supposed to do because I gave him the help, and I'm like, what do I do with this guy? So because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look up what I missed because like I didn't know where to. After he gave me nothing, so I'm like, I'm gonna look up on the internet and see what the internet tells me to do at this point. If I get something cool from it, apparently that you were supposed to go to him in the second chapter and do something with it, but he ran out at me in the third chapter in a land that he wasn't even supposed to be in. So they make you run into these experiences anyways. Like you all will experience those instances at some point. Like did anybody run into the prisoner yet? I don't know if you got far enough where you run into a prisoner that's escaped and you have to help him free. Oh. But you will experience it now that I mentioned it. So it's there. If you play long enough, you'll run into that guy. And it's not about, I guess it's about exploring sort of, but it's not rewarding.
Like, you know, what do you like about what's keeping you coming
so
back?
I do, as much as I don't like the looting and I don't like the gunplay, it's not terrible, the gunplay, first of all. I love the world. I love the experience of being in a Western. That's really what it is. There was an amazing chapter 3 sequence in the story that I can't talk about because it's a spoiler, but it was exactly what you want from like a Western movie sequence was in this game. And I'm like, you got to experience that as a character, and it just felt like this was awesome. And I can say that it was an awesome experience. It was, in my experience, that chapter by itself would be almost a perfect game. Like that, in my opinion, that chapter 3 for me was fantastic. The whole chapter. I don't know what chapter 4 is going to bring, but out of all the other chapters, I'm like, that was almost a perfect game for me. Like that, the score, if I had just that experience closed, I would say my score would be a 9.95, just from that chapter, because I loved every aspect of the story in that chapter. And the experiences, the combat, and the combat sucks, but I loved it's kind of stuff to say because I love the combat, but I hate the combat. You know what I mean? Like I love the Western shootout, but I hate the shooting. Like, does it make sense? Like, you know what I'm saying? Am I saying it right? Like,
no, you are. But here's the thing: there are core aspects of this which aren't even just like mediocre. It's just bad. Like any system where you have to use the Deadeye function, like, and let's be real, you really cannot. I mean, you could, but you would take so much damage, and it's just not good to not use Deadeye.
There's a sequence later on where if you, I started off the sequence and I didn't have Deadeye, my gauge was empty, and I died almost instantly about 3 or 4 times in a row, to the point where I'm like, I knew what was happening in the sequence after that point, after reloading a few tims, that immediately I grabbed a cigar and just try to light up my Deadeye as much as possible, and then I blew the scene up, like, because you can't do enough. Like, you're just like, this is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But then again, this brings me back to my least favorite moment of Red Dead Redemption, where I'm like, when you force a character's death at this point, maybe you all know this, not Red Dead Redemption spoiler, but like when you force a death on a character, yes, when you force that death on me, when I'm like, you've made me get out of experiences worse than this in the game, and again, you had the experience in this game, and I'm like, are they going to do this again at the end of this game? Because I've never heard of this character in the first game, so I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. But whatever. That's why I'm saying the illusion of choice. I don't think it's actually. Again, we're still not anywhere near there yet. I think a lot of it's pre-scripted, and they can hide it behind a beautiful world and a huge world, and it doesn't matter. It's still scripted as much as you want. It's not really open.
Yeah, world. I mean, I like I said, I mentioned earlier, I wanted to see where I stood with this game, so I played a little more, and it's not worth the time I'm putting in it right now. I'm not getting back to what I'm putting in.
And I don't even argue with people that make that statement. Like, there's no argument I have for that. I understand it.
I'm not gonna continue with this game,
I will finish this game. There's no question.
I don't feel bad buying it. Like, I'm not regretting that purchase. I mean,
unfortunate,
but
Tony
I wish
got paid for it.
I wish I liked it.
Tony got paid to play the game, essentially. So.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely probably dumping this. Like, I'm giving it till chapter 2. And if not, I will just get rid of it while it's still like.
My goal is to have this game finished by Thanksgiving, and then I'll be flipping it. I'm not going to keep the game. So, but anyways, let's go into news. Let's go into what we've been up to. The rest of you guys. Sorry, Tony. What else have you been playing?
I got Soul Calibur 5 off the buy two get one deal.
I was gonna ask you guys if you're gonna get Diablo, because I was gonna be like, oh, if you guys are getting Diablo, maybe we could do that. But then I was like, I'd rather not get a card of it, and I'll just buy it digitally.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't even eligible for the sale, unfortunately. So
Switch games.
Yeah, there were some Switch games, but not all. Like I got Dragon Ball Fighters just because I needed a third game because I picked up another one then too, another set. But no, Soul Calibur 5 is fun. Only
6, right? It's 6?
Or I'm sorry, 6.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait, I think it's 6.
But yeah, I mean it's fun.
Character creator's awesome.
Create a character is awesome. It's very in depth.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a nice like palette cleansing fighter for me because it's been a while since I've been into like a 3D fighting game because usually I'm more.
That's more arcadey, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely more arcadey, and they actually have a cool mode in this. I don't know. I don't know if they had this in like 5 or 4 because I think the last time I played was 3 or no 4. But there's a mode where like you create a character and there's like you take this character through like just beginning the game. Like, hey, some circumstances happen and you get trained to become like a warrior in the like battle for the Soul Edge or whatever like that. So it's like kind of cool. I mean, it's very fancy
context to
right. Yep, exactly. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll go through that and stuff like that. So it's fun, and I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can before Smash hits, and definitely will. I mean, I probably got it because they announced 2B as the DLC.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I'll be getting this game out Black Friday for. Yeah. I'm actually pretty certain we haven't gotten all the ads yet. I'm pretty certain I'm going to find this game for $30.
Target is confirmed 35.
I know, but I think we're going to
go $30. Yeah, we'll see.
So I think Walmart will be $5 cheaper. That's my theory, but we'll see.
Hold on, keep talking. But I wanted to get the thing. Hold on.
All right, Corey, what have you been up to?
I think you mentioned more Destiny. Just grinding away at that. There's again more new stuff that's been coming, which is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't know this before. Again, I got the limited edition or whatever I got. So, there's the steelbook. Nice, for those of you who aren't looking via YouTube, definitely check it out. So that's the front. And, the back.
That's a really cool steelbook.
Yeah, it's cool.
The two swords.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but there's a little button here. You can't really see too well, but.
Yeah. What?
That guy.
Yeah.
What?
Swords.
Yeah, there's a little voice box in there, so I was like, "That's pretty cool." Like,
wow.
I feel like
creative packaging.
Nice creative
packaging. Yeah. All right, Corey, you were saying Destiny.
No, it's more Destiny, and again, they have more new things that are happening, and more secrets that are.
Oh, yes. Sorry, speaking of Destiny too. Oh, you're gonna you want to drop the news? Go ahead.
When we get to the news, it's more Destiny news. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can mention it real quick. I mean, we'll keep it flowing, right? What's Destiny's news?
Well, there's rumors Destiny 3 is moving along, and that it's going to be hardcore like RPG instead of a casual thing. So it's so funny because like their reaction to Destiny 1 being too hardcore
make Destiny 2 too easy.
So they made it way too casual, and now their reaction is to make Destiny 3 way hardcore, and it's going to have PvP open world.
Oh, really?
And you can harness the darkness.
But like, really? But can they just find the middle of the line here? Can't they just
They have it right now. That's what I'm saying. It's like right now. It's where it's in a good spot. So.
All right.
But actually, that wasn't the news I was going to talk about. The news I was going to talk about is Activision Blizzard is giving away Destiny 2 on PC for free.
I saw that.
Battle.net.
Yeah, for free. Any PC. Yeah.
For the next 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. So I was like, you know what?
On PC.
He's like, my brother's like, oh, I'll install it. I'm like, there you go. I'll probably like play through like the story mode with him. Just be like, all right, whatever.
There is there's a refer a friend thing going on. Where if you refer a friend, you get all this like exclusive, whatever they call gear, not gear, but it's like the shader stuff. And,
shaders.
And they have to say they're probably the coolest ones. One of them is like called Double Rainbow.
Dude, I saw there was a Double Rainbow tonight out here.
Dude, I took pictures of the Double Rainbow. Yeah, and I was driving and I was like, holy shit, double rainbow.
I was actually driving and I'm like, my girlfriend's like, she's like, oh look, there's a double rainbow. I'm like, oh, double rainbow.
Double rainbow.
Oh, my favorite secret.
There it is. Episode 420. Perfect.
favorite sequence from Borderlands 2 was that, without a doubt. Handsome Jack's Double Rainbow. If you guys have, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube, type Handsome Jack Double Rainbow, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just the best sequence ever. All right, Mike, what have you been playing?
So we talked about Red Dead. I didn't get too much further in it. I'm still in Chapter 2. I'm in the end game. I did what I try not to do, where I am going back and forth between two big story-based, like, open world games.
You gotta be close to The Witcher 3, though. You gotta be done with that almost, right?
There's a lot to it.
Blood and Wine is pretty meaty. I mean,
I think I am in the end game of that, which took a turn I did not see coming. I am in some other thing. It's very different and interesting, but I like it. So we'll see how that goes. And also, I found myself, because I'm playing online with the Xbox with some friends, I played Halo 5 a lot this week, which is funny to me. And Halo 5 it could have been the previous game. It feels the same, just with some microtransaction garbage thrown on top. But it's still Halo. It's fine.
So it is. That's really what I have to say about that too. All right. I also got. Now I'll talk about this next week. I haven't even clearly opened the packaging yet. So
the white rectangle, dude.
Yeah.
It's Glary Apple Watch, Series 4. So.
Oh boy.
Haven't opened it yet. Talk about it. Obviously, I just got it in today.
I really wish they would just give me the option. Let me kill my own battery and give me the option of always on. Because then I would be buying it. But
I'm at the point now where my watch is seriously performing terribly, because that means that they're probably battery throttling me at this point. So I'm pretty happy to get this. And I actually tried it in the store. Cool. Yeah, I was actually trying it in the store. It's so fast. Like, if you go to the Apple Store, and Tony, you've seen this watch. This is useless with apps. It really is.
No, it is.
Yeah, you go and try this. I'm like, okay, let's see how much faster it is. I clicked it and it loaded. I'm like, oh wait, this is usable. So I got the cellular one because I'm not going to necessarily use the cellular part, but I thought should have it. This is like a 4-year investment in a watch. So, we'll see. Who knows where my needs will be. All right, let's get into some news here real quick. We mentioned the Diablo. We didn't mention Diablo news yet. PS4 is out now. Sold the PS3 first. That's the little bit of news we have. Congratulations to Sony. We also have
actually selling more fast. Now that's coming towards the end. It's picking up.
They're outselling the projections. Yeah. We talked about that on the last.
All those exclusives. That's it.
Well, next year that's what Tony and I said, that next year is. I don't know. We'll see. They weren't planning to have it next year, but they have third parties.
Y'all jump ship, all right.
Sony does that. PUBG is going to have Suicide Squad heroes, Joker and Harley Quinn skins.
It's just 4 years too late.
Sure. What, you don't want to play as the Joker in PUBG?
Wait, the Suicide Squad movie versions?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why.
So,
I mean, Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn, but that's a very distinct Joker that most. Sorry, Corey, most people don't like.
Yeah. I think the next bit of news, let's end on down note. Let's start with Smash Brothers news. Let's talk about Nintendo's Direct they had for Smash Brothers last week. Tony, give us the rundown. They had the entire 74 character roster has been confirmed.
Yep. Yeah, so they revealed the last 2 playable characters, and it was really cool because they started out with a cinematic of the Punch-Out ring, and you can see Little Mac, and all of a sudden you see him fighting Ken. Mm-hmm. And even though
Ken was real, but he's real. He's
right.
Yeah,
he was on all the leaks. But Ken's using his full martial arts thing, where Little Mac's just boxing, and he just does a Hadouken and knocks Little Mac out of the ring, and Ken, being the showboat that he is really enjoying it. But you saw these shadows in the eyes, and all of a sudden the last generation Pokemon Incineroar, which is a fire type and a wrestler, comes out and just starts fighting Ken, knocks him out of the ring. So they revealed the last 2 characters of that. So that was fun. And then they're going through all these things, and then they teased a season pass for 5 DLC characters coming out within a year, hopefully, they said. And then they said we're even going to give you guys a little bonus with if you buy the game within the first 90 days, you get this for free. And it shows this footage, and you're like, all right, it's a Mario level. And all of a sudden you see a Piranha Plant. And it's like, all right, is this an item or like a hat or whatever. And the Mary, like what is this? And then Mary just comes up and like he just gets hit by the Piranha Plant. It's like, no, that's a playable character. That is straight up a Piranha Plant as a playable character. And the fucking internet lost their goddamn minds over this shit. I have to say, like the reactions online were like range from like, wow, this is hilarious to fuck you, Nintendo, fuck you, Sakurai, like this character got in and not fucking Waluigi or Shadow the Hedgehog or, you know, insert any other character that people wanted to see in the game. And I'm just like, wow, like you guys are so upset over this.
There's so much outrage this week with gamers. So we're gonna get to the next bit after this, but so
that was really
interesting. And they also revealed their story mode essentially. Right? So it's gonna have its own experience with whatever that story is. It looks like, but
so the single player was pretty cool because, like, you know, again, they teased it for a while. They didn't even want to touch upon it until this direct. But they start out with like talking about spirits, and you're like, all right. And it was like pretty much like kind of like characters represented by like 2D art, like high res art assets because they got rid of the trophies. And it's like, oh, you can equip these. Like they're like, you know, almost like characters that boost your own character and stuff like that. You're like, all right, like I kind of get that. And it's like all these characters from all these games, including like the non-Nintendo ones, like Revolver Ocelot from, you know, Metal Gear Solid. There's Big the Cat. Even Shantae got confirmed as a power and stuff like that. You're like, okay, all right. Like, I guess that's an interesting mode. But then at the end, they're like, oh, yeah, if you're wondering why we call it spirits, here you go. And they just play this cinematic video where, if you remember, I think Smash Bros. Brawl was had like the key art of all these characters standing on a ledge looking at like the sunrise. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a follow-up directly after that, but you see Fox McCloud pointing his blaster at the sky, and he's like, don't let a single one get away. And just like, what's he talking about? You look up and you see like 100 or whatever, some ridiculous number of like master hands in the air, and you're like, all right, this is weird, and it shows all the characters. But then they pull like an Avengers Infinity War. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, where like the big bad boss, whatever, like it's super powered up by all these master hands, and then just obliterates the shit out of every single Nintendo character on their lineup. It's just like goes through them all.
Last man standing. Clearly, Kirby is the most powerful hero in all of Nintendo's universe.
Canonically, he is the most powerful character because he's the only one that got away.
Yeah,
and you gotta say, like, it was kind of like actually a little morbid seeing all these characters just die. Like, some
of them without even getting a hit.
Oh like, no, absolutely. Like Link,
my favorite one was probably Snake because he was just sitting.
He's chilling in his cardboard box. But yeah, like Link gets a couple parries in, and then he just like gets obliterated. Zelda tries using Neighbor's Love, which is like the ultimate defensive magic in Ocarina or whatever. Like that, just gets dusted like instantly. There's this one scene where actually like Pikachu and Sonic are running away, and like Sonic reaches back to like help Pikachu, and then Pikachu just gets dusted, and Sonic gets dusted. You're just like, oh shit, like this is pretty dark actually, and stuff like that. But yeah, Kirby gets away on his warp star.
Yeah.
But basically, it seems to be that the single player mode is Kirby going to rescue all the characters and stuff like that, which is really cool because, you know, for those of you who don't know, Sakurai was pretty much the father figure who created the Kirby character. So it's always been one of the characters that's close to his heart, and not to mention indirectly responsible for the Smash Brothers series and just like the way the game plays and everything like that. And they got like very Japanese and English version of a like anime opening song where it just like has some lyrics to the theme song and stuff like that. But in the Japanese version, Sakurai actually got the voice actress who sung the intro for the Kirby anime back in the like late 90s to come back and sing the song for this. And the mode is called like World of Light, I think. And in Japanese, when you spell it out in katakana and hiragana and all the characters, if you read it backwards, it's actually the title of the very first Kirby game that was released in Japan. So it's like kind of like one of those like full like 360 things. So it's like that's pretty cool. So it'll be interesting how that pans out.
Yeah. All right. So BlizzCon, we had Diablo 4 was announced, wasn't it? Right? Diablo
Again,
4?
It was announced. I mean,
didn't we get Diablo 4? We didn't get Diablo 4 announced. No. We did get a Diablo game though, right? This is a game.
Is it?
I don't know, but the internet has exploded. If you haven't heard about this yet, Diablo Immortal has been announced.
Yeah, and I don't think necessarily the game is like the frustration. It's the fact that where it was placed in the keynote,
Sure,
and the fact that Diablo 4 was not announced.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're
So
saying
people,
on the
like,
chat
this
today,
could have just gone like, oh,
yeah.
I haven't been able to look at that stuff. Like, it's been
Okay. No, on the chat, I'm like, a lot of this would have gone down a lot smoother and better if they just gave us Diablo 4 as an announcement and then said, oh, by the way, we're doing this.
Dude, it's like Gears. Like if Gears came out with pop only, people would have freaked the fuck out.
No, absolutely. And
that's exactly what's happening here.
So we're getting a mobile Diablo Immortals game. And people are losing their shit over it because it's going to have a lot of microtransactions for those who don't know, and that's what the game's being based on.
It's a freaking reskin of a game that already exists,
and a reskin. Yes,
it's not even original.
It's a cash grab. It's a cash
grab. We don't know that it's a reskin. It's made by NetEase, and yes, they have an engine, but
I'm going to call it a cash grab.
I mean, Dragalia Lost is kind of a reskin as well,
right?
So it's the same idea. That's what I mean.
Right, it's using the same assets and the same engine. I mean, I can't really it's like being like, oh, this game runs on Unreal 4. It's like, all right, I mean, yeah, it runs on Unreal 4, but like what you do with it, means a lot different. Anyway.
No, but it's yes, I'm speaking more in general terms, but there's only so much you can do with this type of game, and it's a game that's already out doing that, and it's on a device that isn't as capable of something like a console. So
no, absolutely. But I think as much as they don't want to publicly announce it, I don't think this is for like the North American audience. I think this is clearly aimed at
and that's
Chinese
fine.
audience.
But like the way they come out and announce it, that was
right. I'm not saying that they couldn't have done that better because clearly,
again, this game could have like come out under the radar and been like a really cool thing, but the way they handled it was very poor.
Yeah,
right. I mean, like you just look at stuff like a couple years ago when the last Metroid game was Metroid Other M released on Wii, which didn't do that well. So Nintendo got super hesitant, clammed up on anything Metroid related. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got a new Metroid game to show you guys. And it wound up to be that fucking Federation Force game on 3DS.
Yes.
I mean, I was there. I was like, fuck this. Like, you guys what the fuck are you doing? And they learned the lesson because then, last E3, they're like, they showed just like a CGI trailer of fucking 4, Metroid Prime, and now in development, right? Because they knew as soon as they knew that as soon as they were going to show off that Metroid Samus Returns remake on the 3DS, that if they didn't show like something brand new, people would have lost their shit. So like, hey, our new primary game that you got, primary game that you guys have been asking for is in development, but also we have something else cool for the Metroid fans. Mm-hmm. So they learned that. Just like you said,
this is the second year in a row that they dick tease people. And
right.
And that's the other thing. It's like last year's all these rumors, and here's some Necromancer and Diablo 2 you can play in Diablo 3.
It's more of a compounding issue of everything that's gone on for them in the last 2 years. This is why this is the biggest problem, is because of that. So
right, but I mean, the thing is, since then, Jason Schreier and Kotaku have come out and said that they did have plans to announce Diablo 4.
There's an update at 8:30 on that.
Oh, what's that?
That video, they had plans, but that video was never going to be at BlizzCon.
Okay. So, all right. I don't know, but
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's highly suspicious because it seems like ever since the start of the year, they were hyping up like, hey, this is like going to be a great year for Diablo fans. Wink, wink.
Yes.
And then, we saw like the keynote art, which predominantly featured like new Diablo art that was never seen before and stuff like that. So I find it suspicious that they did all that just for Diablo Immortal. I don't buy that personally. They would have went through all this just for the Diablo Immortal announcement. I personally think that Diablo 4 is just stuck in development now. I think
it says while the article originally stated that Blizzard had recorded a video plan for BlizzCon, in which co-founder Adam talked about a new Diablo game. Although we can confirm that the video was made, Blizzard disputes that it was planned for BlizzCon. First off, we want to mention that we definitely hear our community. We generally don't comment on rumors or speculation, but we had to say we didn't pull any announcements from BlizzCon this year or have plans for other announcements. We do continue to have different teams working on multiple unannounced Blizzard Diablo projects, and we look forward to announcing when the time is right.
The big controversy, we didn't even get into that for this game, though, is that Blizzard rumored to be deleting comments on YouTube, to be like trying to they're getting slammed like crazy on this, and they're just trying to hide the fact that people are pissed. I mean, the video that they showed on YouTube is downvoted like 430,000 times and liked 16,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad, unfortunately. But in my opinion, I think it's like I get the disappointment. Don't get me wrong,
sure.
I get it. But I'm actually more disappointed in the way that the fans are reacting to this, because
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit over the top, because it's like what we just mentioned before. Like if they had mentioned Diablo 4, there wouldn't be any of this backlash.
Right, and that's exactly it. Like if they're just like Diablo 4 in development with just Diablo 4, like the logo or something like that. Not even like logo. It could be just fucking like Comic Sans MS,
down.
right?
Yeah,
that's it. People would like going nuts.
No, exactly, and it's the way they handle it. Again, it's the way they handle this.
But the thing is, like, if you're a rational, logical, somewhat intelligent human being,
it's the internet, man.
Like
that's not you're already done.
Like talking about a Smash. People getting violent on the internet over Smash.
I know, and that's my thing with the gaming community right now, is because like there's no way in hell, pun intended, there's no way in hell that Diablo 4 is not being worked on right now.
Right.
It is a series that sells.
They basically came out and confirmed that it's in development. We just didn't have anything to announce right now.
So it's like if you're a rational, logical, thinking, intelligent human being and can realize, yes, it makes sense for Diablo 4 to be worked on right now. They are obviously working on it. Why am I going to get so angry then that they didn't show an announcement or a teaser or a trailer? Like I don't understand being like disappointed to fuck you, Blizzard, fuck you, everything you do, fuck this shit, your shills, your sellouts, your blah blah blah, this and that. It's like, dude, like calm the hell down.
Yeah,
there are things that are worth being.
Tony, you're preaching to the choir right now, but it's like
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean I'm agreeing. So.
We just talked about how like the internet just got this, like upset about a freaking character that
Piranha Plant, like fucking Planty Boy. But this is what I'm talking about, like how I just feel gaming culture, they're just so entitled and it's getting so toxic. Whereas like imagine being a developer and like the guy who had to announce the project, what's his name? Why I forget his name. But he's ahead, and like they were literally booing him, and it's like, you got to think, this dude is passionate about Diablo. He obviously, because he's been working there for a long time. He helped write Diablo 3's Rose.
And it's not personal to him, but like people are making it. But it's like, it's because of the tease and everything that's been coming out in the rumors, and it's partially media too, like saying, oh hey, Diablo 4 is coming, like, and then BlizzCon, the biggest Blizzard event where everything.
But they even tried to downplay
about like Ash too. Like what's funny is like, I was thinking during the Red Dead conversation a little bit, I was like, you know what? If we had like a McCree Ash like video game, I'd be all for that. That'd be amazing. But no, it's just like what do you do at the end of your conference? You announce
I agree.
Your most exciting like project you're working on, and Diablo comes up on screen, and it's like, yes, finally, and then by the way, this is gonna be a mobile game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Blizzard definitely dropped the ball in terms of how they could have handled the whole ordeal. They could have, but again, this is the thing: is like at the end of the day, it's their intellectual property, it's their convention. They're not forced to do anything. And really, I just think the reaction to this, at the end of the day, all these people who are complaining are going to get Diablo 4 at some point. They are going to get what they want. But here's the thing: like I think. The negative connotation is the negative side of this is that Blizzard's just going to clam out more if they think there's going to be like any possible like backlash or whatever. Like they're just going to be like,
you just mentioned
fuck it, you guys get less.
Tony, like Nintendo learned their lesson. Like
I know, but
I mean also the second year that they did this.
Yeah.
You're right. I get the disappointment.
I'm not on the side of the people that are going to get violent and be physically harmful and threaten. Like I don't agree, obviously, like threatening developers' lives over some stupid video game. Like it's a video game. People get over it. It's like you're saying. Like none of us are going to go out on the internet and start like threatening people because we didn't get what we wanted. But like that's who the internet is right now, and it's like like you're saying, it's just a toxic environment, and I just don't see how they could have not seen this coming.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't either. Like if I were a manager or a director or C-level executive, I've been like, we got to do something about this. Like this can't be it. Like even if at least like they push that up and get it out of the way.
That 4 up there. I mean,
right.
Like that's what Metro did. We said like it's just gotta. You had to do that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It didn't matter if people knew it was coming. It doesn't matter. Like you're not giving them what they wanted.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see when Diablo 4 eventually gets announced, but we know it's happening. So I think that's going to wrap up the Gamecast 420. Thanks for tuning in. Write us podcast at allycangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, AllYouCanGeek, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to this YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for listening. See you next week.